you know. No, truth be told, Marion Petrie had to distance herself. I mean, we never had a formal board. It was always a grassroots effort. But we did refer to her as a board member. And Marianne, I love her. Okay, she's got, you know, people to worry about with publishing companies and stuff like that. And no ill will whatsoever. But, you know, if I was a vindictive guy, you know, and out for my power struggle, why would I not be, you know, wouldn't I just pull her off the Hall of Fame? Hey, this woman says, not get me off the Hall of Fame, but, gee, Dave, can I have a letter from you that says, I'm in no way associated with, you know, the Warrior Project? I'm like, well, hi, Miriam. Nice to see you, too. I mean, babe, try to understand what I'm really trying to do here. This is not talking out of school. This is truth. That's what it is. This is the truth. And the truth is, you know, still care about you and love what you've done with the mission. I know you feel you like to stay neutral. You know, Marianne has done, that's been her thing. She's been Switzerland since day one, as a journalist should. But, you know, did it hurt that, you know, somebody that I've done some nice things for, you know, was a little absent-minded at the time. And that's all I think it is. And I think, you know, Marianne would, you know, admit that, you know, we all still, you know, suffer from complex PTSD bouts. I know, for those that don't know, Marianne suffered abuse from, you know, it's hard to blame me for it, you know, but these were people that, you know, were coming after me and mad at her for interviewing me. Is that something I caused, or is that a statement on what kind of sickos are out there and what kind of attack the free speech is under? Actually, what kind of acceptable attack the free speech? So Cindy Adams, back to her. Cindy has been given the order not to have any association with Dave Weigel. Now think of that. Where the fuck does this judge think we are? Russia? China? As if there's no rights? No human rights? She actually said you're going to lose custody of your daughter. Twin daughters. She had no problem making record of that. People, get your head around this psychopath. I'm sorry, Tiffany Yar. As experts will dissect this evidence, because you're making it evidence, they're going to see that it is a highly accurate and rational assessment based on the activities and behaviors that are proven by the data collection that we are able to provide to every single one of the people that have sat before you before. So this is also an APB out to anyone and everyone that has had Judge Tiffany Yar, unfortunately, preside as judge over your case. I know I'm going to get people reaching out. I know I am. We're a big hit in Kentucky. We had a beautiful soul, this Bobby Kendall. On a live when I was out and hiding, trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this attack on me. And then all that evidence showed up. And it was good. And I was like, okay. Now I can go say, fuck you, I'm taking my kids on a little holiday. We've already proven with hard smoking gun evidence of definitive federal felonies. Stuff you do time for. Against me, it's outrageous. Such a weird position to be in. I'm not scared. You know, I trust the evidence. I trust it's on the public ledger. I trust that there is no explanation, no logical explanation for this behavior, for these facts to show up. There's no possible way the attorney's cousin stepping ahead of 10 other people whose job it is to do that doesn't involve a degree of fraud. How could it not? How could it not? How could it not? So, Judge Tiffany Yar, I am a really perceptive guy. I've studied this at length, this personality type that you have, how you do it, you justify it. I don't care if you're a wonderful person outside of the child trafficking business that you're in. I don't care. I do care that they're like all monsters. There are loved ones that get hurt in this process, that love you, love the idea of you, and hate hearing this information. And I'm sorry, people, but you're gonna get this at some point. It's never gonna come out that I'm this fraud. That's just never happening. So you gotta ask yourself, what's better for you? Getting this message early or late, right? Don't blame the scoreboard, right? The scoreboard just tells the score. We live in a world where the scoreboard is whatever Tiffany Yar says it is. That's not a scoreboard we're going to accept as American citizens. That's not what people died for. It's not what made us who we are. It's not what we all grew up with. Every single person in that county, I think it's Lexington, Kentucky, is exposed in some way, shape, or form to Judge Tiffany Yar and her cohort. That awards, again, hard facts here, people. Hard facts. No matter what she says, nothing can take away the facts that 814 doctor's appointments, Cindy Adams nursed those children to life over 5.5 years at that point. 6 years. Of those first 6 years of these little girls' lives, one was born less than 2 pounds. Facts are Josh Anderson took off month 4, went to rehab, never came back. 4 years later. My assessment of this, from my analysis, I do this for a living, is that because we see this pattern all the time, it was in an effort to avoid paying child support. But I've got to know the situation further. And he's also somebody who's criminally sick. I know of him sending hundreds of text messages almost every single night. I've seen him. This is someone that she's broken up with 6 years ago. We have very strong evidence and reason to believe he's hacked into her things, her PayPal account. I know that he's been reported to the FBI Cyber Crimes Division, and that investigation is on the public ledger as of right now. That happened. All right, it was called in. I know who called it in. Richard Luthman called it in, and he is a very, very credible source. And facts prove that. Richard Luthman prints what he knows as truth. People, this is good versus evil. Except the evil are different. They're not telling you that they're evil. They're telling you that you're crazy for thinking they're evil. And Tiffany Yar is trying to make all this be about any excuse to say that her life is threatened. No, your career, your reputation, because that's what saves people. That's what gets justice for people. Like, no, you cannot pretend that this isn't real. Tiffany Yar had 17 foster kids. She's making money on both ends. Yes, I will put that on the record because I know that means to prove that this is a lie that I'm saying, you have to open up your books. You have to allow the other side to dissect the financial records to prove that you were not financially, you've already made public, it's known, you get paid to take 17 foster kids in. And how many? How many kids have you removed custody from? This full swap over this time period? What is that power system like, huh? The idea to have the power to take 6-year-old girl's mother and just boom, take her out of the equation. Just have the power. Boom. I own you. I'm God. I have the power. Yeah. You want to call it abusing those kids? Yeah, you want to talk about whether that's responsible healthcare wise? Replacing 28 doctors, 5 medical facilities, 4 therapists? I'm a numbers guy. People lie. Numbers don't. That's my religion. What do the numbers say? The numbers say you're a criminal, Tiffany Yar. You should be scared, but not for physical anything. All right? That's not what we do. We tell people the truth. And the truth is, it's laughable if you think that that thing is enforceable. You're not a king. That's not in the children's best interest. And we're going to conduct a study to test that theory. Now, the other thing is she's got to make me be crazy and like in charge of some crazy, irrational, cult that can just do anything on a cuff, like, I don't know, murder somebody, right? No. Everything that we do is just far too rational. It's just far too rational. So we should be very rational and specific here too. So I'm going to invite everybody who sees and hears these words to rein in or submit, your vote on the subject. I ask that, you reference the amount of work that you did in your own research, making sure, taking a look at, past videos, the evidence that's been submitted. Please, I'd like to make, one rule. You can't vote unless you've looked at evidence, right? I'm not going to put a specific number on how much of the evidence, but as a general rule, you can't just see this piece or like just a couple of video pieces without going back and pulling any of, the court documentation or the supported evidence. We're purposely not posting a lot because I've told Cindy the key to this thing is breaking your whole story down to four things. Again, another number is the centerpiece of the genius. That's all the human brain can endure and digest at one sitting. I believe over this new medium of these kind of controlled videos or truth videos, testimonials, whatever you want to call it, this is no TikTok dance. I'll tell you that, it's no TikTok dance. This is real talk. It's difficult talk. We talk about difficult things here. I take a lot of shit. But it's okay, because I know it just means we've scratched on something really effective, really new, really innovative. My God, the payoff, changing those little girls' lives, getting R and L back home to Cindy and in her care. She's doing such a great job holding it together, keeping herself busy as hell, talking to me a lot. She's out working at a work event where she is teaching some important stuff, and I know that fulfills her. And she's enduring what we all know: the alienation, the removal of her babies that she brought to 814 doctor's appointments. Josh went to a handful. Less than 10. I think he was on the phone for maybe 15. No more than 15 of 814 doctors' visits. Now, Only other thing, we got to dissect it and really be balanced here. What if Cindy is one of those crazy parents, I think of Munchausen's disease, whatever it is, who constantly thinks her kids are sick and they're not sick? No, these girls have real conditions. It's very, very clear to see. And I saw the results of both of them scoring 198% of their age group. Yes, Cindy Lynn Adams did that. She took two little babies, her twins, her babies. And the doctor said, when these kids are 6, they're going to act 3 or 4. And Cindy Lynn, Supermom, said, fuck that. No, they ain't. And she willed them back to health. Josh was out of her life for 4 years. She did it herself. She did it herself. But this poor, rich kid, overgrown child, never grew up. And I'm sorry, he's crossed the line of criminal behavior. I mean, it's criminal harassment. I mean, real serious crimes. And that has happened. And the evidence is there. There's this corrupt system that does not want to look at it. That's why we're here. To talk about this in a way that everybody sees, because it's new. And people want to see this. People want to see this kind of revealed to their shit that they're enduring. And that's also the point of this. The point of this is these campaign cases are for everybody, are everybody's case. Everyone's got a Tiffany Yar or in another role. They took their kids out of their lives. They're actively putting them through hell. Actively giving them this thing called complex PTSD, which is hell. You lose a lot of friends. But you know what? The work we're doing brings them back. Catherine Lester, again, been jumping around, told her story in bits and pieces over this time period. Maybe I'll put it together with edits. We had at it. We had at it, okay? She came in and she was very, very focused on what needed to be done, and she was on our same page with, the level of criminal behavior going on, and certainly her thing was with CPS, but as far as the recipe to how to deal with it, she's still stuck in the groupthink. The entire groupthink of the entire movement. There is such a thing called groupthink, and the groupthink is that go through the traditional channel. Nobody knew any other channel worked. It was available, and still don't fully get it. And that's apparent with people that we're helping right now. That after they see things work, they're like, "Oh, okay, so now the old system will work now." Like, what? Take this apart in any other thing that you would do. You try to do something one way, forever, not getting anywhere, 1,000 days in a row. You try a different way for 5 days, 10 days, 60 days, it's working. And then you get back to the 60 days and say, no, let's go back to the 1,000. That's exactly what's going on, but people don't see it that way. They just see the next step. Oh, my federal case now. Oh, my RICO. Oh, we got to get this law changed. Oh, this politician. Oh, this old system, not recognizing that is the problem. The system level. It can't be. It's got to be exposed first. It's got to be fully exposed. I hope people will join in on this. So bottom line is, Kathy wanted to go in this direction about some sort of a case or something like that, and just too many times in a row, Kathy, this is not what we do. And I explained it, tempers rose and stuff like that. And I'm like, listen, lady, we follow what's working. This is working. This is not working. And it's so easy for it to go and devolve into personal attacks and stuff. And it's just, unfortunately it's happened with others. And, but there was something about her. I was new. There was not a bad lady there. She was just obsessed, and she readily admits that her complex PTSD got the best of her and had the heart, the brains, the love, the depth, the honor, the come back into the group and say she made a mistake. You know, it was a complex PTSD. She still loves what we're doing. She still wants to be a part. And I gave her credit the way I'm giving her credit now. That's this mission working. That's the real test. That's what the principals do. She grew. She grew from that point. She understood that, okay, I had a month to think about it. This was not what I thought it was in the moment. It warmed my heart, but more importantly, inspired me, because that's the really way forward. You know, we got to be able to get into arguments and tell each other to F off, and still have the center be about what needs to be done, and also where people's true hearts lie. You know, the only people that really, really hate me are really not good people. There are people that dislike me that are good people. They're in bad heads, and they're gonna find out. You know, yeah, I'm a dick, but I was the appropriate dick in their life at this point. But I can see I'm out for everybody's best interest. I'm not out to serve me on principle. So the whole point of what I'm trying to do here is show people what, you know, the only kind of power that can break what we're facing is something this bold. Is something this bold. I want more people to be brave and have Kathy Lester's honor. Challenge yourself. I'm doing it myself. I'm ready to sit here outside the United States and bring it to full scale bombardment. Let's break this wide open, guys. Nobody wants to do this another 6 years. No way. If we cannot bring the FBI to show that there's law enforcement in this country, desperately needed law enforcement in the United States of America, well, I'm going to become a superstar, making this the biggest story of our time. I'm Dave Weigel. It's Family Court Fraud Warrior Project. I love you all.